All right, A to Z Sports. It's halftime. I don't know what we just watched, Easton. That was a ugly, kind of horrific at times first half. But the Titans are up 9-3. Credit to Mason Rudolph coming in off the bench after Will Levis injured his shoulder. Stepped up, got it done, got the Titans into field goal range there right before the half with the nice throw to Tyler Boyd. So 9-3, the Titans are winning this game. Everybody go ahead, hit that like button. Let's get in here. Love up the show for a Titans lead. Easton, before we get into all the stuff, like what the heck was that first half? How you feeling right now?
This game is drunk, crazy game. And, I love that all of America is being subjected to it. That feels good. I'm glad that it's not just us. Seeing on social media, people wondering why we are having to watch this. But it's deliciously bad to me. I do love a disgusting primetime game. Like you said, Titans are winning. So, ultimately, like we talked about in the pregame, just win, baby. That's what the goal is this week. And however ugly it may be, worry about cleaning that up over your 2 weeks with the bye coming up here. Just an update for those that are wondering what the quarterback situation is, which is, of course, the headline here tonight. Getting word that on the way in, if you're watching the broadcast, you know this, on the way into the locker room, Brian Callahan said to reporters that they were going to just let Mason finish the half and they were going to figure it out from here. Obviously, we've seen Will Levis on the sideline, briefly stepped into the blue medical tent, came out pretty fast, kept his helmet on the sideline throughout the half. Mason Rudolph it didn't ever look like it was a question whether or not he'd be in there. I'm wondering what the shoulder injury, the nature of it is exactly, if he was in the blue medical tent for so short, and I'm not trying to speculate too much here. I'd imagine if there was any worry for structural damage, they probably would have taken him back to evaluate that. Fact that they are letting him keep his helmet on, letting him stay in the shoulder pads on the sideline.
Like I'm speculating here too, but the video almost looked like he dislocated his shoulder, or he popped it out or something. It looked like he kind of popped it back in.
Right.
And he was warming up and feeling pretty good, but there is still some soreness that exists. So maybe that's the case here.
Just a pain tolerance thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Before we get into some of our questions and talk a little bit more about what we just watched in that first half, going to give some love to our partners. They are X Golf Nashville, which is now also in Murfreesboro. They're the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. X Golf, play, train, entertain. Play xgolf.com for X Golf. BetMGM, log in today to get your pro football boost pack to acquire tokens for more winnings at BetMGM. They're an official partner of the Tennessee Titans. And T-Dot, be part of the solution to end littering and make sure nobody trashes Tennessee with visiting nobodytrashestennessee.com. So, yeah, Easton, I don't know. Let's start here. If you're Brian Callahan, if Will Levis is healthy enough to go, are you throwing Will Levis back into this game in the second half, leading 9-3?
If I feel like he is close to 100%, I am. And something that we'll talk a lot about in the post-game show. We don't have time to address it here, but I've seen a lot of folks in the chat saying, I feel more comfortable with Mason Rudolph in the game than Will Levis. If you look at their numbers, obviously the interception from Levis, another instance of him just not seeing the field clearly, and we'll discuss all that later. But, he completed 3 balls. One incompletion was an interception, and then got that what should have been a first down where he injured himself. Crazy that the Titans didn't challenge that on the coaching thing we'll talk about later. Mason Rudolph has come in and made a couple of nice throws, but really, what changed is the Titans just started running the ball really well.
Yeah.
I don't know why it seems like it's Pollard mostly when you have Levis in there, and then Rudolph came in, and suddenly it's mostly Tajay.
Spears, yeah.
No clue what that's about, but Tajay came in running at 4 yards on average a clip. That's a winning formula, and you had Brian Callahan kind of lean into establishing the run there in the second quarter. It was working for him well. Had a phantom holding call on Woody Cushenberry that called back that big Pollard run.
Could have set up a touchdown.
Right. Should have set up a touchdown there. So if I'm the Titans, I don't care who the quarterback is in this game so much as I'm just continuing to do what we're doing on the ground until they don't allow us to have that success.
Yeah, real quick with the chat, because I see a lot of you guys have some passionate opinions here. Just one word, Rudolph, Levis. If both quarterbacks are healthy for the second half, who do you want to see at quarterback? Rudolph, Levis. I would say to put Will Levis back in Easton. I think he's your starting quarterback. He deserves to play if he's your starting quarterback. That being said, to me, for this game, Will Levis would be on a sort of one mistake leash. in this second half.
Oh,
Like
interesting. Okay.
if you roll out Will Levis in the second half to me, and he comes out and on the first drive throws an interception or looks super uncomfortable and looks like he's going to lose you this game because he's not healthy,
Right.
I think you need to end up throwing Mason Rudolph back in this game to just do enough to win. But I do think if Will Levis is healthy enough, he should end up being the quarterback here for the Titans.
I mean, if there's any level of uncomfortability just throwing the ball in warmups before halftime, I
Totally.
say don't put him in there. But if you
For some
do, I think
reason,
my ultimate go ahead.
I don't believe there's a ton of discomfort only because like Levis threw after coming out of the tent. He had his helmet on for the entire first half. I think from a Brian Callahan perspective, it was more of let Mason Rudolph get in a little bit of a rhythm, right? You had been putting together some field goal drives with Mason Rudolph, and it was this idea of like, all right, Mason's out there. Like, like he said, right, going into halftime, like, let's let Mason finish out this half. Let's keep this rhythm, and then we'll reassess where we're at halftime. But I think Will Levis is a logical choice at halftime to be back in for the Titans at quarterback. I would be surprised, honestly, if it continued to be Mason Rudolph. I think that shows that maybe the shoulder is more of a thing than I think it is right now.
Oh, definitely. If it's still Rudolph, the bottom line here is if Levis is healthy enough to go, they're not making a discretionary call of like, well, Levis is healthy, but we think Mason gives us a better chance to win. No, they'll put him in there if they think he's healthy. My bottom line point here is that, Rudolph he's 8 for 14 in this half. Every single one of those completions, except for the one there that set up the field goal, great timing throw to Tyler Boyd across the middle of the field to get him in field goal range. Great protection from the offensive line on that play. Aside from that completion, it was all really short, quick stuff. So if you put Levis back in, stick to that game plan. Do the exact same thing. Run the ball, short, quick, get the ball to the athletes that we talked about pregame. Let them go make stuff happen.
Yeah, listen, before we hit this like little, pause, whatever it was, right before the end of the half, like this game was flying by. It was a lot of runs, a lot of quick passes. It was a lot of two teams just kind of letting the clock churn. I mean, the game was moving. And then it seems like we just hit a wall for a little bit as they tried to figure out what the heck was happening with some of those calls. I will say for a game that the Titans are only up 9-3 in, it feels like there were some opportunities for some more points here. I mean, the first drive of the game, Tyler Huntley throws a ball backwards, which is dropped, which is technically a fumble, which is picked up by Arden Key, which should have been able to be returned for a touchdown had it not been blown dead at the time. The Titans had that drive on the play that, Will Levis got hurt on, that he actually extended that drive with his legs, and a bad call by the referees ended up taking away that possession from the Titans. The Titans had a big run by Tony Pollard that could have set up a touchdown, and that got called back for a holding call that was probably not a very good call on Lloyd Cushenberry. And then you have that weird punt, a blocked punt. Let's not let that go unsaid here. A third blocked punt of the season already in 4 games for the Titans. Barely tipped.
Is that good?
This time? No, it's not.
Not good.
This time Ryan Stonehouse does enough to get it over the guy that's right in front of him, and it ends up being muffed by a random Dolphins player that was not Braxton Berrios back there that tried to grab the ball. After review, Mike Brown touches it a millisecond before the Dolphins player, and that ball comes back and goes to the Dolphins when it would have set the Titans up for potentially another score. So there's been a lot of opportunities for the Titans in this game. It feels like they haven't taken advantage of them. It's a little bit nerve-wracking that they're only up 9-3, and you don't know what your quarterback situation is moving forward.
Well, you mentioned it feeling more lopsided. It's because it has been, right? The Titans nearly double the time of possession in this game, 3 more first downs, 1.3 more yards per play, 10 more plays, double the number of total yards the Dolphins in this game. So the Titans have been dictating this game on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
That's why, again, bottom line, whoever the quarterback is, stick to this game plan. We talked pregame about making in-game adjustments. This is where you stick to what you dance with the girl that brought you to this game so far. Keep doing what you're doing. I don't really have any faith in the Dolphins on either side of the ball to make adjustments to stop the Titans. I'll believe that when I see it, because so far they've not shown any life.
If the Titans run that first half back and they have an ugly 15-6 victory, I don't think anybody's going to complain, because you take your win, get into the bye week, try and get healthy, and just live to see another day. Let's get into it, though, because I think a lot of Titans fans out there, while they did control the game, like you said, are saying, we've seen this film before and they didn't like the ending, to quote
Sure.
Taylor Swift. So let's see what happens here. What is your confidence level right now in a 9-3 game that the Titans will win against the Dolphins on Monday Night Football, 1-10? I need confidence levels that the Titans will win this game. They have played ugly. Maybe the Dolphins have played even uglier. Easton, do you want to go to the chat real quick and see, are people buying into this Titans team right now with a 9-3 lead?
The people are definitively not buying in. Bryce and B Birds both say a 2 out of 10. 615 Unk says a 4. Caleb 0. Dominic and Jabu 3 and 4. Guy says 2. I'm not saying, okay, one person, Joshua, is north of that 5 median. Supreme sitting on 5. Get off the fence. Pick a side there, Supreme. 1.5 from Kyle Robinson. Mostly 5 and below here from the chat. Sam, I'm north of 5. I'd give it a 7.2. That the Titans win this game, because again, I think that they've got the better game plan, and I trust that they'll continue to do what's working for them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm at an 8. I think the Titans are going to win this game. I think just looking right, the Titans offense has been not like it has looked worse than I think it actually has been in like a weird way. Like I feel like they should have more than 9 points in this game. I think they will get at least 1 or 2 touchdowns in this game. So I still think we're going to see a touchdown scored. And I mean, I don't particularly see the Dolphins scoring 2 touchdowns and getting 2 big touchdown drives. I mean, Tyler Huntley looks atrocious. Like this offense,
it's going to take Titans mistakes, right? This is like the Bears game. This is week 1.
No,
the Titans will give them points, or they won't score
lose
points.
This game, it would literally take a pick 6, a kick return touchdown for the Dolphins. I don't think with all 11 offense and defense, the Dolphins are going to win this game. I think the Titans are decidedly the better team, as weird as that is to say right now. I think they're playing better football, and I think this one might be a matter of time before it, breaks open. I don't think the Titans are going to blow them out. I don't think we're going to sit here with a 30-3 final score, a 23-3 final score. But I think you're 10 points if you're the Titans away from kind of putting this one out of reach. I mean, what are the odds the Dolphins are able to get to 20 points in this game with what we saw in that first half? For me, it's not very high.
On their own, not high.
Yeah, not high.
It's going to take a lot of help from the Titans. So again, just don't do dumb that hurts the team. That's all you have to do in the second half. Don't do it.
Noah says, offensive line looks better for Mason Rudolph because Mason doesn't drop as far back. Levis drops back too far, putting his tackles in a bad spot. Interesting you say that, because this coaching staff has actually coached these quarterbacks specifically to drop back deeper in the pocket than normal. Both Will Levis and Malik Willis have been coached this year in training camp to go deeper in the pocket. I would have to watch the tape back, figure out if that's actually the case. And then Daryl says, need to stick with Rudolph. He thinks Levis is locker 2.0. So he's rolling with Mason Rudolph. Easton, I think we're getting ready to come out of this half here. If I'm correct, if my ears do not deceive me. So we'll be back after the game. Let's tighten up and get through 2 more quarters and get our first win of the 2024 season. We'll see you back here after the game.